The stars glimmered against the black void as the survey vessel Horizon drifted toward the distant moon. Captain Alex Morgan stood on the bridge, hands clasped behind his back, watching as the gray surface grew larger on the main screen. "Life signs?" he asked. Lieutenant Olivia Bennett shook her head. "None, Captain. But there's a structure on the surface that doesn't match any known design." "Interesting." Alex leaned forward. "How old?" "The readings suggest at least 10,000 years." Olivia looked up from her screen with wide eyes. "Maybe much older." The Horizon had been mapping this sector for 3 months. The crew of 25 humans was tired, but the discovery brought new energy to the ship. Humans had been traveling space for only 100 years. Finding signs of other life was still rare and exciting. "Prepare a landing team," Alex said. "I want to see this structure up close." 4 hours later, Alex stood inside the alien building with Olivia and security officer Daniel Cruz. Their suits protected them from the moon's thin, toxic atmosphere. The structure was made of a strange blue-green material that seemed to glow from within. "This material doesn't appear on any known chart," Olivia said, scanning the walls. "It's like crystal, but stronger than steel." Daniel touched the wall carefully. "No dust. After thousands of years, there should be dust." Alex frowned. "You're right. It's like something's been keeping it clean." They moved deeper into the structure. The halls were tall and wide, made for beings larger than humans. On the walls were symbols and pictures showing tall, slender figures with 4 arms. "I think these are the builders," Olivia said, pointing to the images. "I've never seen anything like them in our records." In the center of the structure, they found a round room with a raised platform. On it sat a single crystal, perfectly clear and about the size of a human fist. "What do you think it is?" Alex asked. Olivia scanned it. "Power readings are low but steady. It might be some kind of technology. I'd like to bring it back for study." Daniel looked uneasy. "Is that safe? We don't know what it does." "It's been here for thousands of years without doing anything," Olivia said. "I can keep it in a sealed container." Alex thought for a moment. "Okay, but be careful. Follow all safety protocols." They didn't know that inside the crystal, something was watching them. Something that had been waiting for a very long time. Back on the Horizon Olivia placed the crystal in a special container in her lab. The ship left the moon's orbit and continued its survey mission. For 3 days, nothing unusual happened. On the 4th day, as Olivia slept, the crystal began to glow. A soft light filled the lab, and the air seemed to shimmer. Then, where there had been nothing before, a tall figure stood. It had 4 arms, skin like polished blue stone, and eyes that shone like stars. The being looked around the lab with curious eyes. This was Zeleth, observer for the Valtherian High Council. His people had ruled the galaxy for 50,000 years. They did not age or die by normal means. Their bodies could heal from any wound, rebuild from even a single cell. The Valtherians had watched younger races rise and fall like waves on a shore. Humans were new. The Valtherians had noticed their radio signals only recently, and Zeleth had been sent to learn more about them. He had waited in his crystal form, dormant but aware, for someone to find him. Zeleth touched a computer screen, feeling the strange technology. Humans were primitive compared to Valtherians, but they had advanced quickly. This interested the High Council. He made himself invisible again as a crew member walked past the lab. Zeleth would watch these humans, learn their strengths and weaknesses. He would study how they lived with their short lives, how they faced knowing they would die so soon. The Valtherians had almost forgotten what death meant. Zeleth was curious about creatures who lived with its shadow always near. He didn't know that these short-lived beings would soon teach the immortal Valtherians something they had never expected to learn. For 2 weeks, Zeleth moved unseen through the Horizon. He watched the humans work, eat, sleep, and talk. Their lives seemed so busy, so full of action and emotion. This was very different from the calm, slow lives of the Valtherians. Dr. Olivia Bennett worked long hours in her lab, trying to understand the crystal. She didn't know Zeleth was watching her, learning human language from the ship's computers when everyone slept. "There's something strange about this crystal," Olivia told Captain Morgan one morning. "I keep getting energy readings from it, but they don't match any known pattern." "Is it dangerous?" Alex asked. "I don't think so. But it's—" She paused. "It almost seems alive." Alex frowned. "Keep studying it, but be careful." Zeleth found humans fascinating. They laughed, argued, and formed strong bonds with each other. Some even paired off in private quarters, showing physical affection that Valtherians rarely expressed. Zeleth had lived for 3,000 years, but human emotions were new to him. On the 18th day, alarms blared through the ship. Zeleth was in the engine room, studying human technology, when red lights began to flash. "All hands to stations. Unknown vessels approaching." Alex's voice came through the speakers. Zeleth moved quickly to the bridge. 3 ships surrounded the Horizon *. They were smaller but heavily armed. "Pirates," Officer Daniel Cruz said. "They target survey ships for supplies and technology." "Open communication channels," Alex ordered. "This is Captain Alex Morgan of the Earth Survey Vessel Horizon *. State your business." A rough voice answered. "Your business is our business now, Captain. Power down and prepare to be boarded." Alex looked at his crew. Not happening. Battle stations. The Horizon * wasn't built for fighting, but it had shields and some weapons. The pirates attacked from all sides. The ship shook as blasts hit the shields. "Shields at 60%. Someone called. "Return fire," Alex ordered calmly. Zeleth watched with interest. The humans were outnumbered but fought with surprising skill. Captain Morgan made quick decisions, moving the ship to avoid the worst attacks. Then one of the pirate ships hit the Horizon's * engine section. The ship rocked violently, and alarms screamed through the halls. "Fire in Engine Room 3, a voice called over the comm. 2 crew members trapped. Daniel Cruz was already moving. "I'll get them out." Alex nodded. "Be careful." Zeleth followed Daniel as he ran through the ship. The engine room was filled with smoke and flames. 2 young engineers were trapped behind fallen equipment. "Hold on," Daniel called to them. He pushed through the heat, lifting a heavy metal beam that blocked their path. "Go. Run." The engineers escaped, but as Daniel turned to follow, part of the ceiling collapsed. He pushed one engineer out of the way and was hit instead. Zeleth watched as Daniel fell, blood flowing from a wound on his head. The other crew members dragged Daniel to safety as emergency systems put out the fires. Zeleth followed them to the medical bay, puzzled by what he had seen. Daniel had risked his short human life to save others. Why would he do that? Valtherians would never take such risks. With immortal lives, they had become careful, cautious. In the medical bay, Dr. Lisa Powell worked to save Daniel. "He's lost a lot of blood. The head wound is severe." Zeleth moved closer, invisible to human eyes. He could see that Daniel was badly hurt. Humans were so fragile, their bodies so easily damaged. Yet they fought hard to save each other. While the battle continued, the medical team worked for hours to keep Daniel alive. The pirates were finally driven away, but the Horizon * was damaged and Daniel remained unconscious. That night, Zeleth stood by Daniel's bed, watching the monitors track his weak life signs. In 3,000 years, Zeleth had never seen death up close. Valtherians did not die from wounds or age, but this human might die soon. For the first time, Zeleth felt something new, concern for a short-lived being. He reached out one invisible hand toward Daniel, wondering what it felt like to face the end of existence. The monitors beeped steadily as Daniel fought for life, unaware of the immortal witness at his side. 3 days passed, and Daniel still did not wake up. Olivia spent hours in the medical bay, running tests on his brain activity. She noticed strange energy patterns on her scanner, but couldn't explain them. "These readings don't make sense," she told Dr. Powell. "It's like there's something else in the room affecting my equipment." Dr. Powell looked tired. "The pirate attack damaged many systems. Your scanner might be broken." Olivia frowned. "Maybe. But I've seen similar patterns before." She suddenly remembered the crystal in her lab. "I need to check something." When she was alone in the medical bay with Daniel, Olivia set up her scanner again. The strange energy patterns were stronger now. They matched the readings from the crystal perfectly. "I know you're here," she said to the empty room. "Whatever you are, show yourself." For a long moment, nothing happened. Then the air shimmered, and a tall, four-armed figure appeared beside Daniel's bed. Olivia gasped but didn't run. "You are observant," Zeleth said in a voice like crystal chimes. "Most humans would not have detected me." Olivia stared at him, her heart racing. "You were in the crystal. You've been watching us." Zeleth nodded. "I am Zeleth, observer for the Valtherian High Council. We study new species in the galaxy." "New?" "Humans have been exploring space for 100 years. A very short time to us. My people have existed for 50,000 of your years." Olivia's mind filled with questions, but she looked at Daniel first. "Have you been watching him?" "Yes. His injury puzzles me." Zeleth moved closer to Daniel. "He risked his life to save others. Why?" "Because that's what humans do," Olivia said. "We protect each other. But his life is so short already. Only about 80 years total. Why risk losing even a day?" Olivia smiled sadly. "Maybe because our lives are short, every day matters more." Zeleth considered this. "Valtherians do not die from age or most injuries. We can regenerate from almost any damage. Death is unknown to us." "That's hard to imagine," Olivia said. "Death shapes everything about human life. Our choices, our relationships, our dreams." As they talked, Daniel's monitors beeped faster, his eyes fluttered open, and he groaned softly. "Daniel." Olivia moved to his side. "Can you hear me?" "What happened?" Daniel's voice was weak. "Part of the ceiling fell during the pirate attack. You pushed Eddie out of the way." Daniel blinked slowly. "Is he okay?" "Yes, thanks to you." Olivia checked his vital signs. "You've been unconscious for 3 days." Daniel noticed Zeleth, and his eyes widened. "Who? What are you?" "This is Zeleth," Olivia explained. "He's an alien who was hiding in that crystal we found." Zeleth stepped forward. "You nearly died saving your crewmate. I do not understand this choice." Daniel took a shaky breath. "Wasn't really a choice. Just what needed to be done." "But you fear death, do you not?" "All mortal beings fear death." Daniel thought for a moment. "We don't fear it. We defy it." Zeleth tilted his head. "Explain." "Death comes for all humans eventually," Daniel said. "We can't escape it. But we can choose how we face it. I'd rather die saving someone than live knowing I could have helped but didn't." Zeleth had never heard such ideas. Valtherians avoided all risks. They never put themselves in danger. With endless time, they had become careful, patient, and cold. "Your people are strange," Zeleth said. "So brief, yet so intense." Captain Morgan entered the medical bay and stopped suddenly when he saw Zeleth. "What the hell?" "It's okay, Alex," Olivia said quickly. "This is Zeleth. He was in the crystal. He's been studying us." Alex's hand moved to his sidearm. "Studying us? Why?" "My people observe all new spacefaring races," Zeleth explained. "We have watched many species rise and fall over thousands of years." "And what do you plan to do with your observations?" Alex asked, his voice hard. Zeleth looked at Daniel, still weak but defiant in the face of death itself. "I must report to my council. Humans are different from other species we have encountered." Different how? Alex asked. You live knowing you will die, Zeleth said. This changes everything about you. It makes you brave in ways my people have forgotten. Far across the galaxy, 12 tall figures sat in a circular chamber made of the same crystal-like material as the outpost. This was the Valtherian High Council, rulers of the oldest civilization known to exist. Zeleth has made contact with the humans, said High Elder Noravid, the oldest Valtherian at 8,000 years. His report is concerning. Counselor Thrakes leaned forward. What troubles you about these humans? They are reckless. They risk their lives without reason. They spread quickly through space despite their fragile bodies and short lives. Another counselor spoke. Many young species act this way. They burn bright and fade quickly. No, Noravid said firmly. These humans are different. Zeleth believes their awareness of death makes them dangerous. They accomplish in decades what takes other species centuries. The council chamber grew quiet as they considered this information. I will go to see these humans myself, Thrakes finally said. We should understand them better before we decide if they are a threat. Back on the Horizon Asterisk, Captain Morgan had called a meeting. Zeleth stood in the ship's conference room with the senior crew members. His tall, crystal-like body made the humans look small and soft in comparison. So you've been spying on us for weeks, Alex said, his arms crossed. Observing, Zeleth corrected. It is what I was created to do. Lieutenant Samantha Wright, the ship's science officer, studied Zeleth with curious eyes. Created? You weren't born. Valtherians do not reproduce as humans do. We create new members of our race when needed, which is rarely. I was created 3,000 years ago. The humans exchanged looks of amazement. And you've been alive all that time? Olivia asked. Yes, I am still considered young among my people. Daniel, still recovering from his injuries, sat with a blanket over his shoulders. What happens when your people are injured? You said you can regenerate. Zeleth nodded. Our crystalline bodies can rebuild from almost any damage. Even if most of my body were destroyed, the remaining cells would eventually reform my entire self. True immortality, Samantha said quietly. We have never found anything that can permanently end a Valtherian life, Zeleth confirmed. Later that day, Samantha was working in the science lab. She had been scanning samples of radiation that the ship had collected from various stars. When she accidentally brought one sample near her scanner that was analyzing data about Zeleth, something strange happened. The readings flickered and showed disturbances in the energy patterns. Samantha frowned and moved the radiation sample closer to the scanner again. The same thing happened. That's interesting, she muttered. She spent the next several hours running tests with different types of radiation. One type in particular, the kind used in human cancer treatments, seemed to create disruptions in the Valtherian energy patterns. Samantha was about to tell Captain Morgan when the ship's communication system activated. A massive ship had appeared near the Horizon Asterisk, far larger than anything humans had built. Attention human vessel, a voice said over the comm. This is Counselor Thrakes of the Valtherian High Council. We wish to establish formal contact with your species. On the bridge, Alex looked at Zeleth. Friends of yours. The council has sent a delegation. This is unexpected. Zeleth seemed concerned. Thrakes is powerful and curious. He must have found my initial reports interesting. Is this good or bad for us? Alex asked. I am unsure. The council has not taken direct interest in a new species for 5,000 years. Alex straightened his uniform. Well, let's not keep them waiting. Open a channel. The main screen showed a Valtherian similar to Zeleth, but with patterns of gold running through his blue crystalline body. Captain Morgan, Thrakes said, we wish to learn more about humanity. With your permission, I would like to come aboard your vessel. We welcome peaceful contact, Alex replied carefully. As arrangements were made for the meeting, Samantha slipped back to her lab. She hid her research on the radiation effects. Something told her to keep this information secret, at least for now. The Valtherians were coming, and for the first time in thousands of years, they felt something new, uncertainty about what the future might bring. The meeting room on the Horizon felt small with Thrakes present. The Valtherian counselor stood nearly 8 feet tall, his crystal body catching the light and sending rainbow patterns across the walls. "We thank you for this opportunity," Thrakes said, his voice like wind through crystal chimes. "It has been many centuries since we have taken such interest in a young species." Admiral Eric Blackwood had arrived from Earth Command when he heard about the contact. He sat across from Thrakes, his weathered face showing no emotion. "Young is relative, I suppose," the Admiral said. "Humans have existed for hundreds of thousands of years, and our civilization for many thousands. Yet you have only traveled space for 100 of your years," Thrakes replied. "To us, you are like children taking their first steps." Admiral Blackwood's eyes narrowed slightly. "Children can surprise you with how quickly they grow." Captain Morgan glanced between them, feeling the tension. Thrakes spoke of humans as curious specimens, not equals. This troubled Alex. Over the next few days, the Horizon traveled back to Earth with the Valtherian ship following. News of the alien contact spread quickly across human worlds. People were both excited and afraid. At Earth Command Headquarters, Thrakes met with world leaders. He explained that the Valtherians wished to observe human development and perhaps share some knowledge when humans were ready. After one such meeting, Admiral Blackwood approached Thrakes in a quiet garden. "You speak of observing us like we're an interesting science project," Blackwood said. "But true understanding requires more than watching from a distance." Thrakes tilted his head. "What do you suggest?" "Live among us. Not for a day or week, but for 1 Earth year. Experience human life as it truly is." Thrakes considered this. In his 5,000 years, he had never spent significant time with a mortal species. The idea was both strange and intriguing. "An interesting challenge," he finally said. "I accept." And so began Thrakes' year among humans. He was given quarters at Earth Command and assigned Dr. Catherine Nils as his guide. Catherine was 72 years old, a respected physicist with white hair and kind eyes. "Why assign me someone so old?" Thrakes asked Captain Morgan, who had returned to Earth. "Because Catherine has lived a full human life," Alex explained. "She can show you things a younger person couldn't." During his first month on Earth, Thrakes witnessed a birth. He watched in wonder as Catherine's daughter gave birth to a baby boy. "So much pain for such a small creature," Thrakes said, puzzled. Catherine smiled. "Yet Sarah will tell you it was worth every moment of pain. Because the child will live on after her. Partly, but also because love makes the suffering meaningful." Thrakes did not understand this, but he recorded the information carefully. In his 3rd month, Thrakes attended a wedding. He watched 2 humans promise to stay together, until death do us part. "Why mention death in a celebration?" he asked Catherine. "Because death gives the promise meaning. Forever is easy to promise when you live forever. Until death is the biggest promise we can make." By the 6th month, Thrakes had started to see patterns in human behavior that puzzled him. Humans rushed through their short lives, yet they also spent time on activities with no clear purpose. Art, music, games. Why create things that will not last? He asked Catherine one day as they walked through an art museum. Catherine touched a painting gently. "Perhaps because we won't last. Art is one way we reach for immortality." Meanwhile, Lieutenant Samantha Wright continued her secret research on Valtherian biology. She shared her findings with Dr. Bennett and a small team. They discovered that certain radiation treatments affected the crystal structure of Valtherian cells, preventing them from regenerating properly. "They're not truly immortal," Samantha told Olivia. "They've just never encountered anything that could kill them." "Should we tell them?" Olivia asked. Samantha looked troubled. "Not yet. I'm not sure how they would react to learning they can die." As his year on Earth continued, Thrakes grew closer to Catherine. Her wisdom and acceptance of her limited lifespan fascinated him. He began to see that the shadow of death did not make human lives less meaningful. Somehow, it made them more so. 9 months into Thrakes' year on Earth, Catherine became sick. Her doctors said cancer had returned to her body. It was spreading quickly. "Why won't you use the treatments?" Thrakes asked as he sat by her hospital bed. "The radiation therapy helped you before." Catherine smiled weakly. "It would only give me a few more months, and those months would be full of pain. I've lived a good life. Thrakes, I'm ready for what comes next." Thrakes could not understand choosing to die when there was a chance to live longer. In his 5,000 years, he had never faced such a choice. One day, Catherine introduced Thrakes to Zelith, who had remained on Earth to continue his observations. Unknown to Thrakes, Catherine had been working with Zelith on a secret project. "We've been studying Valtherian biology," Catherine told Thrakes. "With your permission, we'd like to show you what we've learned." In Catherine's private lab, she showed Thrakes the results of their research. On a screen, they watched as a sample of Valtherian cells was exposed to radiation similar to that used in human cancer treatment. "Watch closely," Catherine said. The cells began to vibrate, and their crystal structure changed. Instead of rebuilding themselves as damaged Valtherian cells normally would, these cells broke apart completely. "What is happening?" Thrakes asked, his voice quiet. "The radiation creates a resonance pattern that disrupts your cellular structure," Catherine explained. "It prevents regeneration. Permanently." Thrakes stared at the screen. "You have discovered how to kill a Valtherian." "We discovered that Valtherians aren't truly immortal," Catherine corrected gently. "You've simply never encountered anything that could stop your regeneration process." For the first time in his 5,000 years, Thrakes felt fear. "Why show me this? Do humans plan to use this against my people?" Catherine took his hand. Her small, wrinkled fingers looked strange against his crystal skin. "No, we're showing you because understanding death is essential to understanding life." Zelith moved closer. "The High Council should know this truth. We have lived for so long believing we were beyond death. It has made us cold, distant from the universe around us." Thrakes turned away from the screen. "High Elder Noravid will see this as a threat. He already considers humans dangerous because of how quickly you advance." "What do you think?" Catherine asked. Thrakes was silent for a long moment. "I think I have much to consider." Over the next few weeks, Catherine grew weaker. Thrakes spent every day with her, asking questions about human life, about facing death with courage. "Are you afraid?" he asked her one evening as the sun set outside her window. "Not of death itself," she said. "Just of leaving work unfinished, people unloved." "What gives you comfort?" Catherine smiled. "Knowing my life mattered. My research will help others. My daughter and grandson will carry part of me forward. The students I taught will remember what I shared." Thrakes began to understand what humans had that Valtherians lacked, a sense of urgency, of purpose driven by their limited time. On a quiet morning in spring, Catherine died peacefully with Thrakes at her bedside. Her hand grew cold in his, her breathing stopped, and the life energy that Thrakes could always sense in humans simply faded away. For the first time in his existence, Thrakes experienced grief. The feeling was overwhelming, painful in ways he had never known possible. Yet somehow, the pain gave meaning to the time he had spent with Catherine. He finally understood what she had tried to teach him. As Thrakes sat alone in Catherine's room, surrounded by her books and research notes, Zelith found him. "The High Council has received my report about the radiation," Zelith said quietly. "Noravid has called an emergency meeting." "What have they decided?" Thrakes asked. "They have not decided yet, but many are afraid. Fear is new to our kind, and they do not handle it well." Thrakes stood, his crystal form catching the light. "I must return and speak to them. Humans are not a threat to us." "Some would disagree," Zelith warned. Norovit speaks of preventive measures. Frakes looked out the window at the busy human city. Then we must stop him. These humans have taught me that immortality without meaning is empty. Our people have much to learn from them. Frakes was too late. By the time he returned to the Valtherian Council, Norovit had already taken action. 5 Valtherian warships, ancient vessels not used for thousands of years, had been sent toward human colony worlds. What have you done? Frakes demanded, standing in the crystal chamber where the council met. Norovit's blue form seemed darker than before. I have protected our race. These humans now know how to kill us. They must be stopped before they spread this knowledge. They have no plans to harm us, Frakes argued. Catherine shared this discovery so we would understand ourselves better. Your time with the humans has clouded your judgment, another council member said. You have grown too close to these short-lived beings. Frakes looked around the chamber. Some council members seemed uncertain, but most supported Norovit. You speak of protecting our race, Frakes said quietly, but you may destroy what makes us worthy of survival. Meanwhile, Earth Command received urgent messages from the outer colonies. Strange ships had appeared and destroyed research stations without warning. Captain Alex Morgan, now commanding the defense vessel Defiance was sent to investigate. Valtherian ships, Lieutenant Olivia Bennett confirmed as their sensors scanned the attackers. I recognized the crystal structure from our studies of Zelith. Alex's face hardened. Why would they attack us now? We've done nothing to threaten them. Samantha Wright, now Chief Science Officer on the Defiance looked troubled. They might have learned about our discovery, that certain radiation can disrupt their regeneration. Even so, we never planned to use it as a weapon, Alex said. Fear makes people do terrible things, Daniel Krause replied. He had recovered from his injuries and now served as Alex's second-in-command. Even immortal people, it seems. The Defiance reached the Centauri colony just as a Valtherian ship was preparing to attack. 3 other human ships joined them, forming a defensive line. Open a channel, Alex ordered. This is Captain Alex Morgan of Earth Fleet. Valtherian vessel, cease your attack immediately. We wish to resolve this peacefully. The only response was a powerful beam of energy that struck one of the human ships, cutting it in half. Return fire, Alex ordered grimly. Target their weapon systems only. The battle was fierce. Human ships were smaller and faster, but Valtherian technology was far more advanced. 2 more human vessels were destroyed before they could cause any damage to the Valtherian warship. On the Defiance Samantha worked frantically at her console. Captain, I've modified our shields to emit the radiation pattern that affects their cellular structure. It won't harm them permanently, but it might disrupt their systems. Do it, Alex said. When the next Valtherian attack came, the modified shields pulsed with strange blue light. The energy beams scattered across them instead of penetrating. The Valtherian ship paused its attack. It's working, Olivia said. Their weapons are powering down. Back on the Valtherian homeworld, Frakes and Zelith had gathered those council members who opposed the attack. Together, they sent emergency messages to the warships, ordering them to stop the assault. Norovit has locked us out of the communication systems, a council member named Ayala said. The ships will not receive our messages. Then we must go to them ourselves, Frakes decided. I will take my personal vessel. Who will join me? Zelith stepped forward. I will go. The humans treated me with respect when they discovered me. They deserve the same from us. 3 other council members joined them. Their ship launched quickly, racing to reach the battle before it was too late. By the time they arrived at the Centauri colony, the fighting had intensified. The Defiance had been joined by more human ships, and they were holding their own against 2 Valtherian warships. The humans had discovered that their modified radiation shields could protect them, but their weapons still had little effect on the crystal vessels. Frakes opened a channel to both sides. "This is Counselor Thrakes. I order all Valtherian ships to cease fire immediately." This attack was not authorized by the full council. On the Defiance *. Alex heard the transmission. "Thrakes, is that you?" "Yes, Captain Morgan. I apologize for what has happened." Noravid acted out of fear, not reason. "Fear?" Alex asked. "Of what?" "Of ending," Thrakes said simply. "My people have never faced the possibility of death before. Some of us cannot accept it." 5 years passed since the battle at Centauri Colony. The conflict had ended when Thrakes' ship placed itself between the human fleet and the Valtherian warships. For tense hours, both sides held their fire, while Thrakes spoke with Noravid's commanders. Finally, the Valtherian warships retreated. The knowledge that they could die changed Valtherian society forever. Their people split into 2 groups: those who hid themselves away in fear, and those who, inspired by humanity, embraced their newfound mortality as a gift. Thrakes led the second group. They formed a new council that sought peaceful relations with humans and other species. Under his leadership, they began to create art, music, and literature for the first time in thousands of years. On Earth, in a quiet garden at the Space Academy, Captain Alex Morgan sat with Zelith. Alex had gray in his hair now, lines around his eyes that hadn't been there 5 years ago. "The exchange program is working well," Alex said. 20 human scientists are now studying on your homeworld, and we have 15 Valtherian observers at various human colonies. Zelith nodded. His crystal form had changed over the years, with new patterns that showed his experiences. "And what of Dr. Bennett's project?" "That's why I asked you to meet me today." Alex smiled. "She wants to show us the results." They walked to a research building where Olivia Bennett waited for them. Now the head of xenobiology at the Academy, she had spent years studying Valtherian regeneration abilities. "It works," she said simply as they entered her lab. "We've successfully combined Valtherian regeneration technology with human medical treatments." On a screen, she showed them cells dividing and healing at an incredible rate. "This will help humans recover from injuries that would have been fatal before. Not immortality, but a step toward longer, healthier lives." "Catherine would be proud," Zelith said softly. In another part of the lab, Daniel Krause was training a group of cadets. His left arm now had a faint blue glow beneath the skin, the first human to receive the new Valtherian-inspired medical treatment after losing his arm in the battle 5 years ago. "The arm works perfectly," he told Alex. "Better than the original, sometimes." News came that Noravid and his followers had left the Valtherian homeworld. They had taken ships into deep space, seeking isolation from all other life forms. No one had heard from them in 2 years. "Do you think they'll return?" Alex asked Thrakes during a conference call later that day. Thrakes' image shimmered on the screen. "Perhaps in time. Change is difficult after 50,000 years of sameness. Some may never accept it." That evening, Alex visited the Memorial Garden, where a statue of Catherine Mills stood. He found Thrakes there, standing silently before the statue. "I still come here when I visit Earth," Thrakes said, "to remember." "You miss her," Alex observed. "Yes, strange, isn't it? For thousands of years, I never missed anyone. People came and went, and I remained unchanged. Now I understand what it means to lose someone." Alex nodded. "That's the trade we make. Love means eventual loss." "Yet you choose to love anyway," Thrakes said. "That is what makes humans remarkable." In orbit above Earth, a new ship prepared for its maiden voyage. The Catherine Mills was the first vessel created through human Valtherian cooperation, designed to explore beyond the galaxy's edge. Its crew included both humans and Valtherians. Chief Engineer Ryan Cooper made final checks on the new drive system. "Ready when you are, Captain," he said over the comm. Samantha Wright, now Captain Wright, acknowledged from the bridge. "Prepare for departure." As the ship moved away from Earth, Zelith stood at a viewport, watching the blue planet grow smaller. Beside him stood a young Valtherian, created only 50 years ago, practically a child by their standards. "Will I ever understand them?" the young one asked, watching the human crew members work. "Not completely," Zelith replied. "But that is what makes them worth knowing. They surprised us once by showing us we could die. They surprise us still by showing us how to truly live." On the bridge, Captain Wright gave the order to activate the new drive. The stars stretched and blurred as the Catherine Mills carried its mixed crew into the unknown, immortals and mortals together, each with something to teach the other. Back in the memorial garden, Thrakes touched the base of Catherine's statue, where her words were engraved. "Immortality is not found in endless time, but in lives well lived and remembered." For the first time in 50,000 years, the eternal race was awakening to the true meaning of existence.